How's it going out there, Gamer World? It's yours truly, Gamer Cosmic. As you can see, I'm getting a little better in front of the camera. My first two videos, I looked a little shell-shocked, but I'm getting the hang of it. Anybody who's done videos before know it's kind of hard your first couple times. You don't like how you look. You're pouring over every little detail. You hiccup, you skip a beat, and you got to start over. And sometimes it gets frustrating. But this video right here is mostly Pac versus Jason Aaron. Has run so far, and we're gonna start off with Greg Pac, man. After Peter David, man, he's one of the best to come along to put some new energy into the Hulk persona. Planet Hulk hit the ground running. I mean, people loved it, loved the look of Hulk, loving the situation he was in. Even though he was vulnerable, he was weaker than before, we still loved it because it was that sense of camaraderie. I mean, when you put a bunch of guys in a room together and we're watching Braveheart, and you get that little chill at the end when Wallace is like, freedom! That's how we felt when reading Planet Hulk. Forgive me with my nose running. I've been, allergy season is crazy right now. I'm about to sneeze right now soon. Trying to hold it in by saying a banana in my head. Something my daughter taught me. But Planet Hulk hit the ground hard, nuclear hard. And he followed it up with World War Hulk. Then we got to see how strong Hulk gets and when he's focused, like how dangerous he can be when he lets the gloves off. And then the reemergence of we get to see World Breaker Hulk. Because Bruce Jones already hinted at it that Hulk was only capable of knocking this planet off its foundation already. It pushed too far. Even though some of you who don't like Bruce Jones' run, like Green Scar 1990, I know you despise his run, but hopefully that's the last sneeze. But we definitely disagree on some things. I definitely love Bruce Jones' run because it's a more adult themed. And was Hulk a little isolated in that world? He definitely was, and I will admit that. But the artwork was fantastic. I thought the storyline was pretty good also, too. It didn't show Hulk as much, but when they did show him, it was a big deal. He focused a lot on Banner. And what people forget, thank you! Man, I really don't want to start this video over because I'll probably end up still sneezing. So I'm going to just improvise and just keep going. But Greg Pac did bring a lot to the table. I just thought after issue 106, after it turned into the Incredible Jerk / Incredible Herc, that his writing or his heart wasn't there. One of the two, it wasn't there. The heart or the writing wasn't there. And maybe Marvel had a little more input on it. Like, we need to make sure every comic book can be made into a cartoon or a movie. So I can see, it was dumbed down to me. It was definitely dumbed down. Greg Pac brought a lot of new cast, well, not even a lot of new cast members. He might have made them a new look, but a lot of the old cast was back. You got to see the Warbound again a couple times. Betty as She-Hulk. Rick Jones as the A-Bomb. We got to see a few more. We got to see a few more characters come in. But Greg Pac never did anything with them, though. I mean, honestly, if you used to go back and reread his issues, who are you connected with? I think Jeff Parker's backstories of Rick Jones was better than Rick Jones being actually in Greg Pac's comic book. It's like Jeff Parker shed more light on him, and like 3 or 4 pages of a back filler at the end of a comic than Greg Pac can do. I didn't feel any bond with them like I felt with the Warbound during Planet Hulk and World War Hulk. It's just. I wasn't even feeling it for Betty either. Like, even though he was trying to concentrate a little bit on that relationship with them, like where they at, I still wasn't feeling it with him. I wasn't connected with him. He brought Marlo back. Great. Marlo has always been part of Hulk's past since she dated Joe Fixer. She used to date the Hulk, well, Grey Hulk, back in the day during Peter David's run, the legendary god. But Greg Pac just seems that he has a problem with cast members. So he has to boost their power levels up so he doesn't have to really write about, well, how will somebody that has Spider-Man agility and Spider-Man endurance and durability, how would it do up against big heavyweights like Hulk in them. So instead, he just makes them all Hulk level baseline strength, so they can. It's just easier for him to write. That's just what I see. Greg Pak 600 run. I try to let it tread some water. I try to give it a shot. But when I know that we was going to go on 10 issues before we got a hint of the Green Hulk coming back, I wasn't happy because the stories that followed up to that wasn't really that good. Scar couldn't carry the book. I'm not saying he couldn't. Greg Pak just wrote him to where he couldn't carry the book by himself. No one was interested that much in Scar to be like, yo, we're done with the Green Hulk. I want to see what Scar's about. If Greg Pak wrote him a little better, maybe people would have looked at those 10 issues a little better. As he got past that, we got to the Dark Sun saga. His writing was still suffering. It was just like he was trying to fit so much in. And he had 35 issues to do it. So when people say that he felt that Marvel rushed Pak, like how did they rush you when they gave you 35 issues? 35 issues to tell your story, man. And it just wasn't that complete. It just, if you look at it and really give a review on it, what was it about? It was supposed to be about Hulk's family. I mean, we hardly seen him. Like, we hardly even connect with him. I mean, Greg Pak all he gave us was a sci-fi channel, cheap budget movie made into a comic book. That's how I felt, to be honest with you. Heart of the Monster, I was hoping that was going to be his gift to us. Like, hey, thank you for being patient. I know my work wasn't all that good, but you know what? I'm going to give you guys what you want. He gave some of us what we wanted. We got some action. But the storyline wasn't there. It was real weak. A wishing well? Really? Honestly, really? Think about that. You guys harp on Jason Aaron about his writing, but it's okay for Greg Pak have some lady come down with a machine that can turn a fountain of youth into a wishing well. I mean, a reality warping power. It was kind of ridiculous. And then to offset it all you had to do is have enough wishing energy left, which is so childish, wishing energy left, to make a strong wish and put everything back to where it was. And so it just defeats the purpose. Like, any writer could do that. That was an easy scapegoat. What upset me most is the characters he brought back into that into the fold of his last one, which he did nothing with. I think Fit Fang Fool was alright. He was alright. But Lord Armageddon? Come on, man. You can't touch Peter David's creations and don't add something to it or make it better. Like, what's the purpose of that? And, Greg Pak just went out with a little dud. It's like that firecracker with the long wick, and you're like, yeah. Once it gets to it, it's gonna boom. And then it gets to it, it just makes that little. That's all it did. Greg Pak will be remembered for World War Hulk, and he will be remembered for Planet Hulk. And you know what? Whenever people talk about it, they will bring those issues up. And you know what? I'll give him that, because right now people don't really talk about Bruce Jones' run. He didn't leave a big imprint in our minds with his run. Only some of us. But Greg Pak did leave it with Planet Hulk, and I would definitely give him that. And I can't take nothing away from him just because of that. But his 600 run, if you really believe that was solid writing, you believe that was good, and he explained himself good, and he just wrote it well, then I'm gonna call you out. You're not a real Hulk fan. Because if you're going to put Pak with Peter David writing is far superior. He deals with issues all across the table that's going on in the world at the moment. So if Peter David was writing Hulk today, he'd bring up the recession. He'd bring up the war in Iraq somehow. You know what I mean? He'll bring up the gays being able to get married. That somehow would make its way into the Hulk comic book. That's what I'm saying. He's that talented of a writer to make you aware of social issues that's going on out there. He's really an adult-themed writer. And if you have still that mentality of like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, and you're 19 and you're 20, then yeah, I can see why Jason Aaron wouldn't be for you. But please don't use Peter David and Greg Pak in the same sentence, acting as if they're equal. They're definitely not. That means you really didn't read Peter David's run. And I'm going to have to cut it short right here because I know YouTube's going to let me do like 10 minutes. And I'll continue with part 2 right after.